Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Wellness Zoom. This is Catherine Clement in Boulder, Colorado. And unfortunately, I haven't made a video for the last, I think I missed 1 week, possibly two. I'm hoping not two, though. Really been having some scheduling conflicts. There's been some changes in my primary business and, like juggling multiple lines of income and things like that. So had a lot of conflicting time schedules, and I'm actually looking for a better time to have this weekly wellness Zoom because I would love to have more community participation. When I started this, it was definitely to have a place where people could come, to have an ear, to have someone to listen, and to join with them in their search for, in their quest for wellness, so to speak, share different tools with people and maybe turn them on to some ways of thinking or different energetic modalities or whatever, any kind of modalities. But I was really wanting for people to plug in and be here with me and have a conversation every week. It was never my intention to just sit and talk to the webcam for an hour. Although if that's what has to happen, then I do see that people are watching the replay, so I would, of course, continue to do that. But I just thought, since this time isn't working well for me anyway, and obviously not others, perhaps we could, as a community, vote on a day, time, evening, weekend, whatever, where we could have more participation. So, with that being said, I had invited a couple of people to come on today, but they weren't able to make it. And so I think today I'm just going to talk about some things that have come up in the weekly wellness group. If you don't know, we actually have a Facebook group, and you're welcome to join us there and share what you do with us and share your wisdom. We're always looking to build the community. We have David Snell, who's a wonderful friend, and he has, I don't know how many Facebook pages he has, but he is by far the most prolific poster of anyone I have ever met. This man is like a posting machine, and he owns something called restorationboard.com. And I just want to thank David for inviting me to be the moderator of the health and wellness thread going on over there. So we invite everybody to join us over on restorationboard.com. And it is Google search friendly. So if you join us and make some posts over there or engage by liking and commenting on some of the posts, you will get your these things are ranking on Google. So if you want to post something over there about your business, get to know the community a little bit maybe before you just go blasting. But David does welcome. His name is David Snell, Snell. He is on Facebook. Look him up. He's got a mold remediator group on Facebook, but we talk about everything over there too. That's kind of, I forget how I met David, but I've spoken with him several times on the phone, and he's an amazing, just, heart of gold guy. He has or he had, I don't know if he's still doing it actively, but he had a restoration business for many, many years. Not like furniture, but I'm talking about going into places where there's been fires, or there's mold in there, or some sort of, toxic something that has to be uh, cleared out, taken out of there, mold killed, or whatever, and there are a lot of people that are sick because of mold. So this is a huge service that David provides, but that's just like the tip of the iceberg, because not only did he build a tremendous restoration business, but he was so well known for his integrity and his kind heart and everything, that his business really, really grew. And what he found is that a lot of times, and I discovered this myself a couple years ago, might be 3 years ago now. Time goes so fast. We had a huge flood out here in Boulder, Colorado, where I live, and many, 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 many people sustained flooding damage. And sadly, what happens after an event like that is people swoop in and start scamming people. They say they have a restoration business or whatever, and they take people's money and they run, basically. And so David is wanting to provide service for everybody. Obviously, he was one man and he had a company, but he couldn't provide service for everybody. So what he did was he actually came up with Snell Experts, and you can Google that, Snell Experts. And what it is, it's like this directory of restoration practitioners. I don't think that's what they're called, restoration experts. And so in whatever state you might be in, I think he's just in the US, but I'm sure he'll go global. Um, let's say you were in California and you needed some restoration work, you could go to Snell Experts and find who in California is actually a member of Snell Experts, because David puts them through an interview process, and there are certain things that they have to have a certain rating with the Better Business Bureau, and they have to have, I believe, certain trainings, and kind of he makes sure that they are legitimate, that they know what they're doing, that they do a thorough job, that they are people of integrity, and they can't be part of his Snell Experts if they aren't all of those things. So he puts them through a very rigorous vetting process, and that can give you complete confidence that whoever you hire is really going to do a good job for you. And I can't say enough about that, because even people that aren't trying to actively scam people, there's a lot of, quote, restoration experts out there that don't know what they're doing. And they're not trying to scam, but they just haven't educated themselves enough to understand that perhaps just, doing this or that, and they think that's enough, when in actuality it isn't. So David really holds his experts to a certain standard. So I highly recommend, in case you haven't figured it out by now, I highly recommend David. And I just want to say, he also donated he knows that I do healing work and that I'm wanting to open a healing center, and I'm working on raising funds for that. And he asked me, what I needed, and we had some discussions around that, and he actually gifted me a machine similar to a Rife machine, for those that are familiar with that. And this is something that I am using on myself daily, which is, of course, going to help me get stronger and heal and get out of this bed and be able to tend to that healing center, because I know it's coming. I can see it materializing, in my mind's eye. I see more and more pieces of it every day, and I am raising funds around that. So if you have any interest in donating towards Silvery Moon Healing Center, please contact me by private message on Facebook. Is probably the easiest way to get in touch with me, and I can tell you how you can go about donating to that. It's going to be a healing center for people and animals, because I have such a place, such a connection with animals. There's no way I can leave them out of my healing. And some of my most amazing healing stories have come from animals. I love them because they're just so energetically open. And as humans, we tend to block healing with certain belief systems and certain negative thought processes, and inability to, like lack of willpower, inability to control have enough self-discipline to do some of these things and improve in some ways. So anyway, Silvery Moon Healing Center is going to be a place of serenity. I believe that when you get silent and you listen to God, you get all kinds of answers. And so it's going to be, I mean, there'll be music and sound healing and um, medical ozone and, sauna and just all kinds of soothing things to the spirit. I do energy healing. So the vibration will be amazingly beautiful. I can guarantee that. Um, really looking forward to helping, continuing to help people who are unable to afford to pay for services. What I have found through the years is that I typically, by the time people find me, they have exhausted their bank accounts. I knew I have a friend that was a millionaire, and he wound up spending it all at Mayo Clinic, and he still has the problem that he went there with. So it's the medical system, and I was a nurse for 20 years, so I feel like I can speak about the medical system, and it has become a money making. It always has been. It's not for profit or whatever. So, but I would like to continue, as I do now, continue to offer payment plans, sliding scales, by donation, different options for people who, don't have much money. I also actually have several ways that people can make money. So I know that this weekly wellness Zoom is typically about our health, but I have to say from personal experience, if you don't have the money to, buy the quality food that you need and to, perhaps live in a healthier place, healthier environment, different things. Money is very important, and I don't consider financial wellness to be any less important than health, because you need all of it. And often you need that financial wellness before you can get to the health part, because let's face it, there are millions of, well, I don't know about millions, okay, but there are just tons and tons of amazing products out there. A lot of them are hooked to network marketing companies, but some of them aren't. But there are just amazing products out there. If most people had the freedom to choose the very best quality food, the very best quality supplements, to live in the highest quality environment, um, they would be much, much healthier, right? So financial wellness is not only imperative, but it's also a good indicator. Sometimes you can have blocks, like you're not understanding why you're not healing. I think this is actually an issue for me. I'm getting some tingles on this. So they always say you speak what you most need to hear. And I do recognize that when I'm sitting here talking into this webcam, that I am speaking to myself. Sometimes we get blocks where we can't heal physically because we have some blocks financially, like once you start noticing what your thought processes are and your feelings and your emotions around finances, it can show some blocks. A lot of us were taught some totally ignorant and untrue things about money, and especially those of us who are energy healers, light workers. I find that I read an interesting blog. Oh shoot, I should have had that information, but it's in the weekly wellness group. I encourage you to join us on Facebook there. I have it posted there, and it talks about having light worker syndrome. Now, I'm not big on labels, but it was just a good way of pointing out that a lot of light workers have this thing against receiving money. And the only thing I can say is a block is a block is a block, pretty much. If you're blocked against receiving finances, you may be blocked against receiving healing. So it's, in other words, it's kind of a red flag for us, and can bring awareness to things that need to be healed. So I just want to encourage people. I know that network marketing has a, to some people a bad connotation. To millions of people, it has an amazing connotation, because they've pushed through fears, excuse me, and they've gotten their voice, they've grown emotionally and intellectually and financially, and all of these ways, by participating in network marketing, learning how to communicate with people, learning how to work with a team to accomplish things, having that entrepreneur spirit, that pioneer spirit, that feeling of, I came here for a mission, and how am I going to do? A lot of light workers feel like, well, yeah, I came for a mission, but I can't do it by myself. That's true. Don't try to do it by yourself. There are lots of ways that you can supplement your income while you're doing your energy healing or whatever it is that you do. There are many ways that you can supplement your income just from home, online. It's not something that you have to go get a job or whatever. And so I'm always willing to talk about those things. And one of the things that I've been doing in that area for the last 18 months has been learning about digital currency. And now I teach people about digital currency, because I knew nothing about it. I've never been a financial whiz, or any, numbers just kind of freaked me out. But, I'm getting better every day at that, because I'm seeing the power. I was one of those people that had blocks, and maybe still do, since I was getting some tingles, right? But I was one of those people that has blocks towards finance in certain ways. But I'm working diligently on getting rid of those blocks. Let's just release them right now, because I have seen through other people the power that having those large types of finances, I've seen the difference it can make in people's lives. I never realized that I could make that much money to have that big of an impact on other people. I never imagined that I excuse me, would have the knowledge to share with other people that could allow them to earn that much money. Now, it takes time. It's not overnight, but it's also not 40 years. I mean, I did the whole registered nursing thing for 20 years and would have done it another 20 years if I hadn't have fallen off the horse. So I kind of had to learn the hard way how to work from home, and mostly I learned what not to do. I learned what companies not to join, but this one has been so different, and I've been so successful at this one as far as securing my family's future. It's not all liquid right now. I do have it in places where it's earning me. It is multiplying, and that's what I'm trying to do is set aside. I live very simply. I would rather continue to live simply and just build this, keep putting things back in and building it for my future, my children's future, my grandchildren's future. I'm more about building a legacy for the family rather than, dripping gold all over myself or whatever right now. I don't mind living simply so that other people can have more. And I would rather continue to live semi-simply, although I want that healing center. And I want to be able to have people come there, whether they can afford it or not. Obviously, I will, graciously accept donations and probably have a sliding scale and have prices there are people that can afford to come pay for such services and will pay abundantly and generously, and those people kind of help cover for the other people that can't. And if we all work together like that, um, it can just be such a beautiful healing experience. And then having the animals there as well. Obviously, some people don't like animals, so maybe they don't want to come, but maybe they're the ones that need to come the most, because animals are just amazing. And I know I've spoken with some people that have some phobias around animals, and I just personally, I can't imagine not having that bond. I've always had animals in my life: dogs, cats, horses, ferrets, fish, rabbits, gerbils, hamsters. I forget what all else we had, but we had a lot of critters, and just, dearly love animals. And so I think they're very healing. I used to volunteer at a equine therapy program, and we worked with kids who had autism. We worked with children with physical handicap, like if they were on a ventilator, because I was a registered nurse for 20 years working with premature babies in intensive care. And so I had a lot of ventilator experience, and so I could do that. And what a joy. And just knowing the healing that has come to me through horses, I know the power of that healing. And so I would love to have, even if I have to be able to hire people or do volunteers or whatever to actually, do a lot of the care of the horses that I might not be able to do or whatever. There are people that can do that, and would love to maybe have a beautiful place to stay. And so, these are all dreams of the future, but I couldn't have any of those dreams if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, working from home online. And I have, but my primary focus is I'm a teacher. I teach people about wellness, whether that be health or finance or emotional or spirituality or whatever. Um, it's interesting because for years and years I said, and this is really, pay attention to what I'm about to share here, because we have to be so careful with our words. I said, you can never pay me enough to be a teacher. Now, I was thinking about, grade school, middle school, high school, because the kids seem to be getting somewhat difficult to deal with these days. And so I was more referring to those age groups. And I said, you couldn't pay me enough to be a teacher. Now, there's two interesting things there. For one, I found out, yes, you can pay me enough, because we have some of the highest paid teachers um, in the world if you look at people who are in networking. And I know the digital currency education program that I'm with has the top earners of any company in history. So we're definitely there's no excuses there. I don't want to go into specifics about that. I would love to talk to you personally about it. Maybe I'll do a weekly wellness Zoom on that one day. But today I just sort of wanted to touch on financial wellness and just assure you that it is not, there are many, many ways to make money. And so please don't feel like if you have internet, you can make as much as you want. Quite honestly, I work with people in other countries that have very, very little internet, and we're still being able to offer them uh, the same opportunity. It's not quite as easy to do it all by mobile, but it can be done, and that's the important thing. So, and then, health, people who are in these health base, I'm actually just the nurse in me requires me to carry a few products for people because I know how important they are for people to have. And I'm actually going to be starting a sort of a recommended product page on my livedreambelieve.me, and you'll be able to go over there and see what products I recommend, because I have developed an entire toolbox of products and modalities and things that help people, um, especially things that help pain, but also things that help people heal. And so that was the whole purpose of livedreambelieve.me, of the weekly wellness Zoom, was to share those things. So I'm not trying to recruit anybody, okay, but I will be offering some products. I think that I unfortunately, people have been, they've gotten into maybe a network marketing business, and maybe there was a high auto ship requirement or something, and so it was just taking money from them monthly, and they never figured out how to work the business, so they never made any money, and so it just turned into this negative financial situation, an emotional situation, obviously, and so. But one thing I can say is that there are companies out there, if you are at the place where you just do not want an auto ship. Some people don't mind an auto ship, it's tax deductible or whatever. So, but if you just want to be in a company that doesn't have an auto ship, there are some available. We can talk about that. Be glad to talk to you about that in private message on Facebook. And I will say, as far as retention, that really helps your retention if you do try to share the opportunity with other people, because I think that is there's pretty much two things that can stop a network marketer in their tracks in the beginning, until you really develop yourself as an entrepreneur. And that is not having leads is one, like not having anybody to talk to, especially if you've done a few other things and you've hit up your family and friends, and now you're at the point where you're in that, NFL club, no friends list club. You just don't want to, maybe you look at an opportunity and you say, oh, wow, that's an amazing opportunity. And, maybe I even have enough to get into it. But I don't know anybody that would want to do that. I mean, people, it doesn't matter how good your presentation is, people will sort of, they sort of will get excited and then talk themselves out of it by the end of the presentation. Many people will. And so you need to make, if you can make it simpler for them where there's not an auto ship, it just helps retention, because that's the second thing that will knock them out of the business, is not being able to afford the auto ship every month. So not having leads, not having auto ship. So if, like, I have actually very high quality pre-qualified leads, and that's how I choose to do it, because you'll find out as you start, even if there's unlimited leads on Facebook, you guys, totally unlimited leads on Facebook. But if you don't have a lot of time to nurture relationships on Facebook, to develop those leads, then sometimes a lead service is best. But I will say, I have purchased leads in the past that were not pre-qualified. In other words, these leads, somebody has already called, 25, 35, 40 numbers, whatever, to get that one person that actually, picks up and talks to you. If you've been in this business for a while. So a call center is doing all of that. Once they get that, yes, I'm interested in speaking with somebody. Yes, I want to make some money from home. Then that is the pre-qualified lead that we get, with information about, how much they want to make, and just they're very, very good, and it saves a lot of trouble. And so that's one thing we have to offer people, to kind of help ease up that fear a little bit, and then also to some options of companies where there isn't an auto ship. I think it's really important. So financial wellness, if you think about people around the world, um, so many people are unbanked. So many people, there's like 2 or 3 million people unbanked. And not only in quote, third world countries, because I think we're pretty third world on some things here, but we're so fortunate here in the U.S. though. Like we're so very, very blessed. But those I lost my train of thought right there. Psst, there it goes. Sometimes that happens. I'm probably rambling on and should stop, but I definitely don't need to make this an hour-long one. Basically, I just wanted to engage the conversation about let's change the time of this so that we can have more community participation. It'd be much better if I was having this discussion amongst some other people. And also, to remind you that this is for practitioners to come on and share what they do and share their products. And, that's one of the reasons why this was developed, this weekly wellness Zoom. But if you don't have something like that and you're looking for something, let's talk private message, because I have quite a toolbox full of things that might help you on every level. So I hope that when I post this in the group, I'm going to get some feedback about, please tell me what day, evening, what times work for you. Be sure to include time zones so I can kind of, I hope I get, several people kind of chime in, and then we'll look and see what time would work best for the majority. So I just thank you so much for being part of the community. I really appreciate all you guys. And David Snell, thank you so much for all your help, and thank you for the amazing donation to Silvery Moon Healing Center. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That will help people in many ways, and I will be able to offer that to people who have no funds for treatments or something, because when I get donated a machine like that, and I'm not caught up in having to purchase it, then that's something that I can easily offer, because I don't have to recoup any of my purchase money. So I can offer that to people. And David knew that. He knew that I'm going to use that for people and help them. We already actually used it with a friend of mine, lady in Nashville, a dear friend that I went down to visit, and he mailed it to her, and we used it there for her. And now I'm using it. So I'll be keeping you updated on how that works. It's called the Detox Box, for those of you who are interested. Sort of a Rife type machine with energetic frequencies and series of frequencies. They're actually sound, which is so very interesting to me, because Spirit told me probably about a year or two ago that sound therapy was what I needed to be checking into. And this is sound therapy, but not like you would like when I think of sound therapy, I think of music or crystal singing bowls or, dance or whatever. But this is like a frequency machine, but there's like sound vibrations. It's almost like ultrasound or something like that, I guess. I don't know how to actually describe it, but I'll be learning more and more about that and sharing that with you as we go. So thank you so much, David, for all your help. And thanks everybody out there in the community. Please let me know when is a great time when you can come, and let's sit around the coffee table and talk for a while. All right. Blessings to all. We'll see you. Might not be. We'll see if we get rescheduled by next week. And yeah, it may take a week or so to find a time. We'll see how this goes, but let's work towards getting more of a community discussion. All right. Love you guys. Have an awesome week. Bye.